Hello everyone. In the previous episode, we talked about the miraculous exodus from Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, and the great miracles Hashem performed for the Jewish people. The news of these mighty miracles spread throughout the world, and everyone was talking about the Jewish nation and the miracles that God performed for us. Yitro, who was the priest of Midian and the father-in-law of Moshe, heard all about it and decided to leave his country and his position to join the Jewish nation. But it's important to know that Yitro was a priest of idolatry. He worshipped all kinds of idolatry that existed. But he heard that there is a God who performs such miracles. He understood that Hashem is the one true God. The people of Midian were very angry with Yitro. They excommunicated and rejected him, but that didn't deter Yitro. He was determined to join the Jewish people. Yitro didn't come alone. He brought with him Tzipporah, Moshe's wife, and Moshe's two sons, Gershom and Eliezer. Moshe hadn't seen her since he left for Egypt to save the Jewish nation. Moshe went out to greet Yitro, and when the Jews saw Moshe going out to meet Yitro, they went out too. He bowed to his father-in-law, kissed him, and inquired about the well-being of his family. What an emotional meeting! Moshe told Yitro in great detail about all the miracles that happened. Yitro was so excited that he rejoiced immensely and exclaimed, "Blessed be God." He even offered sacrifices to God and joined in a festive meal with Moshe, Aaron, and the elders of Israel. But the next day, Yitro saw something that worried him a lot. He saw Moshe sitting from morning until evening, judging the people. People stood in a long line to ask questions and get solutions to their problems. Yitro said to Moshe, "What are you doing? Why are you sitting alone while the people stand around you from morning till evening? This way, both you and the people will wear yourselves out. You won't be able to hold out." Yitro was wise. He suggested an idea to Moshe. Choose righteous and wise people to help you judge. They will handle the small matters, and you should only handle the big and important matters. Moshe listened to his father-in-law's suggestion. Now came the most special time in the history of the Jewish nation, the giving of the Torah. On the first day of the month of Sivan, the Jews arrived in the Sinai desert and began preparing to receive the Torah. Hashem told Moshe to say to the people, "You have seen what I did to Egypt and how I carried you on eagle's wings. If you listen to my voice and keep my covenant, you will be my treasured people among all nations." The people answered in unison, "All that Hashem has spoken, we will do." What amazing unity. Hashem told Moshe that in 3 days he would reveal himself to all the people, and that everyone should prepare, wash their clothes, purify themselves, and not approach Mount Sinai. Meanwhile, Hashem sent an angel to heal everyone who was injured from the harsh labor of the Egyptians, so that the Jews would be healthy when they received the Torah. And so, on the night before the giving of the Torah, the Jews were at the peak of excitement, and they realized that if they didn't get some sleep, they wouldn't be able to hold out. So they went to sleep, and it was such a sweet and peaceful sleep. And then morning came, and Hashem arrived at Mount Sinai. But the Jewish people were still sleeping in their tents. What did Hashem do? He brought thunder and lightning. Moshe ran to the tents to wake everyone up, and they stood by Mount Sinai. Suddenly, a heavy cloud covered the mountain, and there was a very loud sound of the shofar. All the people trembled with fear. Moshe led the people to the foot of the mountain, and the entire mountain was smoking because Hashem had descended upon it in fire. The sound of the shofar grew louder and louder. Suddenly, Mount Sinai was uprooted from its place and stood in the air, and the voice of Hashem was heard. "If you accept the Torah, it will be good, and if not, here will be your burial." And the reason, because without the Torah, it's impossible to live in this world. And then silence, complete silence. No bird chirped, no dog barked, not a single creature made a sound. Silence! And suddenly Hashem began to speak. "I am Hashem your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt." The voice of Hashem was heard throughout the world, in every country, in a language they could understand. But notice what happened. Immediately, when Hashem said, "I am Hashem," the entire Jewish nation were thrown back 12 kilometers. And they died. What did Hashem do? He took dew of resurrection and with it revived the Jewish people. One of the miraculous things that happened at Mount Sinai was that everything Hashem said could be seen in letters that were flying in the air. Wow, what a miracle. The entire nation heard the 10 Commandments, all of them directly from God. "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not take the name of Hashem your God in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Oh, what an amazing event. The people were so frightened by the sounds and lightning that they asked Moshe to speak with them, and they will listen. But let not God speak with us, because we may die. Hashem taught Moshe the rest of the Torah, and Moshe taught the people. At the end of the Parsha, Hashem commanded the construction of a special altar. Not fancy, not with steps, but simple and accurate, just like our service of God. What happened after the giving of the Torah? How did the people cope with the new commandments? We'll tell you about that in the next episode.